In this video, I'm going to give you every tool that you need to get from 0 to 10K per month and beyond. This is one of the most important videos that you will watch on scaling your agency from 0 to 10K a month. So close all tabs, turn off all notifications, get a pad and pen, and follow along with me in this video. Now, I can promise you that by the end of this video, the only thing stopping you from getting to 10K a month and beyond is taking action. So follow along and implement every single thing that I say. So who actually am I? Well, I've used to be like yourself, working a full-time job, or you might be building up your agency. Now, I've got to the position where I've now left my job. I'm now living out in Vietnam, living the life that I've always wanted to live it, being able to travel the world, do what I want, when I want. Don't believe me? Well, come take a look at this. It's currently thunderstorming at the moment, but this is what Vietnam is looking like at the moment. And that is the life that I'm currently living, being able to do this stuff whenever, wherever. So with that in mind, I've now got my agency to consistently 15 to 20K months and scaling above and beyond that. I'm also being mentored by Jordan Platten, who's one of the biggest agency owners within the space on YouTube. So with that in mind, let's dive into the whole processes, frameworks that's going to get you to that 10K a month mark fast. Now, the thing is that with an agency, the problem that I found was that yes, I had this knowledge and I was working incredibly hard, but if you're not using the right tools, the right resources, the right standard operating procedures, then you might as well just be throwing a tennis ball against the wall and it consistently happen. Because the thing is you're just going to be repeating the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same outcome. Where instead what you want to be doing is you want to be making sure that every single time you're hitting the same part of the wall. And what this is going to do is help you to do that, because I really struggled with this whole process when I first started my agency over 2 years ago. And having the right tools and assets gave me freedom, gave me structure, and gave me clarity within my agency. Now, to do this, we're actually going to dive into the on-screen stuff. This is going to be everything that I'm going to talk you through on this whiteboard here. Okay, so for us to understand what tools we need to use, what systems and procedures we need to be working with, we need to break the agency down into 4 stages. The first stage being acquisition, second stage sales, fulfillment, and then retention. Now, a little bit of information about this. Acquisition, obviously acquiring customers, how you acquire customers, what systems, what processes do you have in place. Sales being obviously getting the sale, getting the cash collected, all the systems that are going to help you for that. And then the fulfillment, the back end stuff. So once you've signed the clients, delivering a good service, being able to retain the clients, reducing churn, and then finally retention, obviously trying to maintain the clients as much as possible for as long as a period of time to increase the lifetime value of that customer or that client. So the first thing that we need to understand is obviously acquisition. And what sort of softwares, tools, systems can you use to help yourself with client acquisition and signing more clients? Well, the first one is going to be a completely customized CRM or spreadsheet. Now, when you first start your agency, $97 is quite a lot, in all honesty, if you're first starting out and you've got nothing to spend. If you do and you work a job alongside running your agency, this is one of the best investments that you should get. If you don't know it already, I'll put it up on the screen right here. It is Go High Level. If you do not have Go High Level, then I 1,000,000% recommend getting that, because you can create custom CRMs for customer relationship management software. So you're allowed to track and see like, okay, this person's at the follow-up stage, this person's at the I need to close stage, this person's at the client stage where they're actually signing the client. And it just really helps with client acquisition, because you're able to order and sort out who to follow up with, who not to follow up with, and also who's unqualified or not interested. And you can move them so you don't have to worry and waste any energy on trying to get more people through the door that way. So the first one for client acquisition is Go High Level. It allows you to organize your CRM completely, just makes life way, way easier. Now, our second one here that's going to help us further with client acquisition is Calendly. Now, why is Calendly such a good software? Well, the thing with Calendly is that you won't have to set up any automated reminders because they're already set up in there. You just have to customize them how you want them, whether that's time period. Now, I'd always recommend doing a confirmation, a 24-hour, 12 hours out, and 3 hours out before the appointment. That way, based on all of the reminders, that's just been the best way that we've had the best show up rate for my agency. Agency show up rate is one of those things where if there is somebody out there that's doing 90+% show rate, then fantastic. But it's one thing that you will always have to manage, nurture, maintain. But Calendly makes it way easier because if you're just booking people straight into a calendar, there's no reminders for people. People need to be reminded about appointments, meetings, things like that, for them to be able to show in the first place. Now, you want to stack obviously automated and manual reminders together with that. That's all for a separate video. But Calendly and Go High Level are musts for client acquisition. If you have got sales calls booked, book them on Calendly. If you're doing your outreach, whether that's cold email, cold SMS, Instagram DMs, Facebook DMs, or cold calling, which by the way, you should really be doing cold calling unless your niche doesn't allow that somehow, then you need to be using Go High Level and using the opportunities pipeline and creating a pipeline where you're able to track all of your leads to know where you've contacted them from. Now, the next stage is going to be stage 2, which is the sales. What do we need to be using for sales calls? Well, the first thing is we need to be recording our calls. If we do not record our calls, how do we know if we are improving or getting better? And how am I able to look back at our call and be like, okay, I need to establish frame better at the start of the call. How do I know this stuff if I don't watch myself back? Or have a mentor that's experienced in sales who reviews your calls for you. So the best software to use for this is Fathom. Fathom is a fantastic software. You can get the free version. It costs absolutely nothing. It will automatically enter all calls that you have, whether that's on Google Meet, that's on Zoom. And what this allows you to do is be able to watch calls back whenever you like. Most importantly, I would schedule a time block, an hour or half an hour or so, and just go through your sales calls and look at the things that you know you need to focus on better that you've been told before. Really be self-reflective about what you're trying to improve on. But also as well, it just really helps you with any sorts of calls you got, let alone sales. But when you start to scale your agency and you have a team of setters, you have client calls. If a client says something, you can go back through the call and double check they've actually said that thing. Or you said that thing if they're saying, oh no, but you said this. So that's a really powerful software and tool that 1,000,000% you should be using in the sales section. Now, the second thing or second software that you should be using, this sort of goes around all of them, but more importantly, I would say the sales side of stuff, and especially client acquisition, which is Notion. Notion is a project management system which allows you to do anything and everything. By far the best project management system and software, in my opinion. That's me being biased, but I've used it since I started my agency almost 2.5 years ago now. And so 1,000,000% you should and have to be using Notion. The reason I say this is because you can put your sales scripts in there, you can put your outreach scripts in there for client acquisition, you can put the fulfillment and the retention systems in there, standard operating procedures that's going to help you retain more clients, deliver better results, be able to be a better agency. And also when you start building teams for each department, the project management system that's in there, if you get used to it early, it's a lot easier to use later on. Whereas if you start to use it when you're at 10K a month or at 20K per month, and then looking at it being like, okay, what do I need to do here? I don't know how to use this. You're wasting time. You don't want to be wasting your time there because you want to be doing higher leverage activities. So get used to Notion now because it's going to help you in the long term. Okay, so stage 3 now, the fulfillment side of stuff. What things do we need to be doing to be able to fulfill a good service for our clients? What tools are going to help us? Well, the first tool is going to be ChatGPT. ChatGPT is fantastic for generic questions on things that you can't solve or can't find stuff for. The reason it's so good is you can type in on ChatGPT, find me a YouTube video that talks to me about how to set up a client ad account, and then ask it for a standard operating procedure for this. Fantastic for generic stuff. Now, that's really good for that, but if we're delivering some form of service which requires us to write copy, and what I mean by copy is marketing, letters or words like ad copy or email copy, those sorts of things, or content copy, anything that requires us, so the reader to be able to read the section. Now for this, Claude is way better than ChatGPT. Claude.ai is a software used for copywriters. It's way better, way more advanced than what ChatGPT is. ChatGPT's ad copy, in my opinion, is just a bit shit. Whereas Claude is really refined, way better. Use that for your service delivery when writing ad copy. Now, these last two come under fulfillment and retention, more so retention. The first one being Zapier. Zapier allows you to link softwares from one place to another place. So for example, linking Slack to Go High Level, or linking Claude to Go High Level, or linking Calendly and Fathom together. It allows you to link stuff together so that you're able to keep stuff in one place. So for example, we book our sales calls through Calendly, but they get automatically added to our CRM in Go High Level through Zapier. So it's a third-party software that you can link two softwares together that's going to allow you to be able to keep things a bit cleaner and crisper, because if you're using multiple CRMs, for example, in the sales side of stuff and also the client acquisition, it just gets a bit clunky because nobody really knows where they're at because of what CRM are you using. Close, HubSpot, Go High Level. We don't want to be using multiple, we just want to be using one, and that's our central hub for anything and everything to do with client acquisition and sales. And so Zapier just helps keep everything better, more compact and easier. Finally, in terms of retention and fulfillment, but more side the retention, Slack. If you don't have Slack, 1,000,000% get using it. It allows you to contact clients. It allows you to send notifications from, for example, Facebook ads. Then you can forward that onto a Slack channel, which people know, okay, new leads come through for your inbound sales or yourself to call. If you're doing lead generation, if you're not using Slack, use Slack. It keeps everything more succinct and concise. So with that in mind, guys, that is all of the tools that you need to use right now. And the great thing about it is a majority of these are free. Means you don't have to spend a penny. So what's your excuse? You can go out and get all of these softwares. At most, you'll be paying, if you really want the premium and best versions of stuff, all of these softwares, with the exception of Go High Level. Well, Go High Level even has a 14-day free trial, which I'm pretty sure some gurus have a 30-day free trial. I'll drop my link below, but go and find one that's a 30-day free trial, in all honesty, because it's going to give you an even longer time before you have to pay for the software, and 30 days is more than enough time to sign a client from that. So with that in mind, guys, all of these softwares are completely free. You have no excuse not to go from 0 to 10K a month. You have everything that you need. Go and implement it. Go and get those clients. If you like the video, guys, then feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you've got any questions, drop them down below. As always, guys, have an awesome day.